Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And real quick before we get into today's topic, I just want to talk about how this channel has been growing in the past 2 months, and the last time I uploaded was 2 months ago. Thank you guys for that. If you like the content, if you want to see more, obviously subscribing is the best way to help out the channel. And of course there's going to be more in the future. I just kind of got sidetracked for the past 2 months, but I'm starting to get back into the swing of things. Now, one more thing before we even start this video. The reason why I even came across this topic in the first place is because of another YouTuber I was watching called Toad Smoothie. You might know him, but while I was watching one of his videos, he ran past the idea of whether or not he could use science to prove if a cursed thrall could exist in real life or not. And, you know, I thought that that was a very interesting topic because, I mean, in lore, there's not really much about cursed thrall to begin with. Nothing about their biology or how they really work. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, I guess, but compared to a lot of other species that we know of, especially within the hive like the ogres, we don't even know how the cursed thrall come to be. I figured this video would serve as sort of a scientific way of looking at it in real life. There's a lot of stuff in Destiny that isn't really explained, and honestly this would be a whole heck of a lot easier, or honestly this video wouldn't even exist at all if cursed thrall were just fleshed out a little bit more. Anyways, let's start out with the basics. What is a cursed thrall? A cursed thrall is a lower member of the hive species, them being the same rank as a common thrall. Now, while they have the added benefit of also being mobile bombs, they at first glance seem not very capable of using their external extremities such as their arms, which remained affixed to their body in a hugging position. These are incredibly hostile enemies and will charge you and explode upon you or any other enemy that they're fighting at the time like it's their only mission in life, which it pretty much is. In fact, there is some speculation as to what the cursed part of the cursed thrall even is, and some say that their curse itself is that they will self-sacrifice. This said curse is probably brought upon by another powerful entity, similar to how ogres are made by torturing Thrall as a wizard. That being said, here are the most important parts for this video of the cursed thrall. Number one, they're a thrall morph, distinct but very similar to the common thrall. They themselves are very common and explode when threatened. They also die upon said explosion. Now, something I like to do whenever thinking about hypotheticals like this is look for real world counterparts, because I mean, if we're going to try to bring these guys to life in the real world, we need to kind of see how it is in real life with other organisms. So out of all of the animals in the animal kingdom and the ones that I could think of, I figured that insects would be the best way to go, simply because, I mean, you know, hive, bugs, you know, you get the point. During my typing away, I found 2 insects in particular that kind of caught my eye and do fit the profile of an explosive insect-like being that the thrall would be in real life. That being both a species of ant and a species of termite, Colobopsis explodens, and whatever this is, I'm not going to sit here and try to pronounce it because I have messed it up every single time I've tried. These 2 insects are of course known for their explosions that are harmful to those insects that they are trying to defend their nest against. I say explosion, but it's more of a secretion if anything. And if I'm honest, the only reason why I have a termite here on the list is not really because of the quote-unquote explosion. It's more of like, I kind of think that termites low-key look like Thrall. If you take away the antenna, you know, you take away like the fat body, put the head on a Thrall body, you know, it looks the same, right? You could pass as a Thrall, as a termite, right? If you give it like teeth too. Yeah, I think that works. Anyways, the ant is more of what I was looking for, especially due to the fact that the workers themselves are the ones that go out and defend against the threats that are made towards the nest. Usually you don't see the workers of ant colonies doing the defense, it's usually the bigger ants. However, it's due to the specific adaptation that they have taken the role not only as a worker, but also as a defender. And of course, I think that the same thing would also apply to the thrall. Not only are the cursed thrall as common as regular workers, they also help defend their broods, and I guess would be considered as sort of a blessing towards the hive, as only they could be, because I mean, due to the sword logic, I don't really think that the hive see them as strong enough to be anything more than just used as tools. So now that we have this real life example of how it could work, rather than an excretion, let's go with an actual explosion to kind of fit the bill. Now, there's a bunch of different ways that you could go about this, especially with modern science and the type of technology that the modern age is privy to. I'm not going to sit here and attach a nuke to anything and call it a cursed thrall, even though that would be an overkill version of it. Plus, I don't really think it would be fun if you just said, strap a bomb to it and then call it a day. Let's get into it a little bit more. So as I was thinking of different chemicals that would create an explosion, I thought instantly about dynamite, or rather nitroglycerin, which is the main chemical component found in dynamite that was patented by Alfred Nobel in 1867. You might know him from the Nobel Peace Prize. However, if you read up on nitroglycerin a little bit, you'll find out that sources of heat and flames, as well as electricity, are capable of igniting nitroglycerin enough to make it explode. And in cases where nitroglycerin is in a solid state, it would take a stronger primer to detonate said nitroglycerin, which would cause a larger explosion overall. So let's say we're in an advanced civilization, right? Hundreds, maybe thousands of years into the future from where we are today. And we could create literally anything, and we decide to go back to Destiny 2, which released in 2017. And here we are in the year 3000, talking about a game that's probably already dead. Anyways, this is the way that I think scientists would go about it. In order to construct a cursed Thrall in the most accurate way, obviously its body would need to be made of chitin. This is a material that the outer shell of both hive and insects are made of, and acts as a durable armor that protects their squishy insides. Obviously there will be points of articulation, most likely at the wrist, hips, and possible neck area. However, I don't really think it matters too much. Moving up towards the head where everything pretty much happens, I'd assume that they'd start with a brain of some sort, because you need something to conduct motor function. But whether that be a robotic brain or a futuristic brain that you grow in a lab that only has one specific function programmed into it, that would be the thing that tells the body where to go. And obviously you would need some sort of eyes. And I know, of course, Thrall don't exactly have eyes, but I mean, come on, man, I'm trying not to go into like space magic, okay? So let's say the Thrall have very, very tiny eyes in the front of their head. Maybe the cursed Thrall have eyes in the back of that glowing green orb that they call a head. That's of course filled with the nitroglycerin that will help cause the explosion. Now, if you've been following up until this point, you would notice that we don't really have a detonation button or something that caused the detonation in the first place. But you'll also remember that with nitroglycerin, electricity or some sort of heat source is capable of igniting nitroglycerin. Now, whether or not you have a robotic brain in that thing or one made out of biomatter, I don't really think it matters too much, because both can carry an electrical charge that would be more than enough to ignite that much nitroglycerin in one setting. You'd also need some sort of blood-brain barrier, or I guess in this case nitroglycerin-brain barrier, as to not drown the brain in fluids, messing up the motor functions of the Thrall. In other words, you could just place a wire just outside of the blood-brain barrier to something that can emit an electric signal, which should cause a giant explosion, giving us a real-life cursed Thrall. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in another 2 months. Peace.